I led my master to the market to sell myself. The reins were in his hands, the road beneath my hooves. It was a road of wandering, one I'd traveled for 43 years. The fields I'd plowed stretched longer than the years themselves. 9 lives I'd helped nurture into adulthood. My back had once been a bridge carrying 9 pairs of feet toward distant futures. Now it was headed toward its own end. The market reeked of choking dust. Cows lowed mournfully, people haggled loudly. Tethered to a wooden post, I felt like a rusted, obsolete farm tool. Crowds gathered around, prying open my jaws to count my worn teeth, slapping my sunken ribs. Too old, won't survive the winter. 3,000 tops, 3,000 at most. He stood aside like a withered tree, silently enduring every word that devalued my life. Finally, a cattle dealer, cigarette dangling from his mouth, shouted, "Hey, old man, you gonna sell this cow or not?" He lifted his head, his gaze cutting through the crowd. His voice was hoarse but clear. 20,000, not a cent less. I owe him his way home. Laughter erupted, loud enough to rattle the market stalls. Crazy old fool! Amid the chaos, his trembling hand gently rested on my protruding spine. A single, light caress. In that moment, all noise faded away. Suddenly, I understood everything. This trip, this humiliation, this absurd price tag, none of it was about selling me. This man, who'd stayed silent his whole life, was using the clumsiest way he knew to shout to the world. My life had weight like a mountain, heavier than any handful of coins they could offer. My mind drifted back to the rice fields, where we'd turned barren soil into fertile land, where harvests became tuition fees and dowries for 9 children. Then machines arrived in the village, and the children moved to the city. Only he and I remained. At noon, Grandma would bring us rice. We'd share a single bowl, but she'd only let me lap at a few sips of rice wine. "Too much isn't good for you," she'd say. When I fell ill, he walked miles to the farthest hillside just to dig up dandelions for medicine. Grandma would shout from the field, which is more important, the cow or the crops. He'd stand there in the sunset, clutching that handful of weeds, his face blank with confusion. He'd long since lost count of the answer. Eventually, even that quiet life slipped away. His back curved into a bow, racked with pain. When his children came home from the city, they urged him, "Sell it. It'll make life easier for you." He'd always stay silent, sitting night after night in the cattle shed like a stone statue. Until one evening, he nodded slowly. "After the autumn harvest," he said, "and so came this day, this impossible price of 20,000. He never sold me. On the journey home, the sunset bled red, merging our shadows into one. With a price no one would ever pay, he'd bought my entire life and silenced the world. The autumn harvest truly was over. For the last time, we climbed the mountain. He stumbled ahead with a small bundle of firewood on his back. I strained behind, pulling a heavy cart, gasping for breath. 2 overworn creaks in the earth, hauling the last fuel for our lives. I knew the end was near. The night I died, there was no pain. With each labored breath I took, he reached out in the darkness to stroke my neck. Before dawn broke, he removed the iron ring that had pierced my nose for 43 years, along with the bell whose surface had long since worn smooth. He just knelt there, repeatedly touching my cooling forehead. I wanted to nuzzle him one last time with what little strength I had, but all I could manage was a soft, faint meow. I wasn't sold. I was returned to the earth, with dignity, with grandeur, as promised after the harvest. He buried me beneath the chinaberry tree where I'd loved to rest, pouring an entire jug of rice wine I'd never gotten to drink my fill of. Later, that silent bell was hung under the eaves. When the wind blew, it clanged softly, empty and clear. He'd often sit at the door listening, sometimes pouring a bowl of wine. He'd drink half, then spill the other half on the ground. There was never any transaction between us. He'd paid an astronomical price to defend the pricelessness of our companionship, and I left behind a silent mountain of firewood, repaying every bit of the kindness that had woven through this long, long life.